Celtics Talk podcast is presented by 24autogroup.com. New England gets more at 24.
What happened on that play where you got tripped or were tripped, and how much did that frustrate you the rest of that way?
Man, y'all gonna give me fines because you can't have a mistake like that as an official at that point in the game. It's fourth quarter, it's a minute left in the game or less, and the whole staff blows the call. You know what I mean? Cost us a game, like unacceptable. You can make mistakes at any point of the game, but right there, that wasn't good. That wasn't good. It's unacceptable. And then they telling me like, oh, like we didn't see it. Like how none of you see it? Like you can't trip somebody in the fourth quarter and then just be a no call. It's some.
What's up, everybody? So I believe Jaylen Brown's song was playing as you entered into this podcast foray, coming off 105-103 loss to the Utah Jazz. And as you can tell from JB's tone and the bleeps that were included, not very thrilled about it. Kayla,
did we bleep him out?
We have to, right? Like
that wasn't our first.
Yeah, we when he popped up on our air, we were uncertain how angry he would be about the end of the game, and it turned out he's pretty angry.
Yeah.
So the word I kept using was inexcusable, and I'm just gonna launch right into it. That's my headline. It feels like pretty inexcusable for the Celtics to trip up in this game against the Jazz. But I understand JB's frustration with the tripping call, but there was 24 minutes of that second half where they were not good, and it did not boil down to one play. This was a Jazz team playing on the second night of a back-to-back that had lost by 20-plus points against like a depleted Charlotte team. The Celtics were sitting on that bad loss to Houston and should have been like, okay, we can chalk that up the schedule. That it should have been it's go time. And, when they hit them with a 10-0 run out of the gates, I'm like, okay, here we go. This is the Celtics team we know.
Yeah.
And yet an absolute crumble in the second half and more of the inability to keep their foot on the gas.
It's interesting, too, because after the Houston game, I think all of us were like, all right, Houston's just that good. They're bigger. They got a front court presence. They're just talented, and they're the better team. And so I think the fan base, everyone, even myself, I was like, and Peyton Pritchard, right? What did he say? He was like, all right, whatever.
We got punked, but we're moving on.
And so I thought, okay, screw it, move forward. And they were going to come out, and as you mentioned, right out the gate, Celtics, they 10-0. And then 14-2, 17-2, and they just were rolling.
Silly me, I was like, this is going to be a boring night.
Same.
They're just going to roll.
I thought this was going to be a 35-plus point night. And then sure enough, foot off the gas, and they just had these collapses. And it wasn't anything that, Utah did that scared me in terms of watching this. I think everyone argues or debates about the three-point shooting, and they were terrible from behind the three. Let's call it what it is. I don't mind. Shooters shoot. Shooters shoot. And Joe Mazzulla, Scals attested to this in postgame. They're going to keep shooting. They're just a three-point shooting team. The thing is, I liked what Eddie said, which is point in the paint touches. Even when you miss or make, still find ways to get into the paint and create more.
Right.
And I just don't think that.
How many of those threes that they took? So they were 11 of 51 on three-pointers, 21.6%. It's not like the Jazz were great from three-point, 9 of 31, 29%. It's that the Celtics, Derek White and Peyton Pritchard each hit a three in that opening salvo to go up 10-0, and you're like, all right, this is it. They're gonna find their way. It's like they're gonna get off their little funk, and the Celtics are gonna kind of run away with this thing. And then, especially in the second half, those three-point shots started missing. So I will we always do these things right after the game, and you sit there, and I say to myself, man, I'd like to go back and check the numbers on how much space they had. Were they good threes? Were they early clock threes? Were they in transition threes? But I think you're right. What I suspect I'll find is that while much of them were probably good quality looks, they were not driving, cracking a defense, kicking it, and putting yourself in good position kind of threes. They were like the Jazz, and not always a great defensive team, and the Celtics had some quality looks. Like Sam Hauser definitely had some shots he should have knocked down. Derek White should have had some threes that he should have knocked down. I'm sure Peyton is mad about missing some threes. But it just didn't feel – it felt like when all those guys are missing, what are you doing to get some sort of steady offense? And we're going to get into the only guy who seemed to be able to bring some steady offense. But, how are you collecting yourself? And the worst thing was that not only did they not find a sustainable offense, they let it bleed into the defensive end.
And you just led me to the guy that we're going to talk about, which is Jaylen, JB, which my headline.
What is your headline?
My headline is SOS help Jaylen Brown. Like, I don't know. It's a whack headline, but it's pretty plain and simple. SOS.
I was kicking myself for not thinking of that headline because it's so good.
SOS help Jaylen out. Because this man, you talk about the threes. This is a perfect example of what you just said. Even if you don't shoot the three ball well, he was 0 for 9, I think, behind the three here tonight. Didn't hit a three. And still he explodes for 36 points. 36 points. So the point is, he found other ways to create, to get to the hoop. This man is giving his all night in and night out. And then obviously
13 of 19 inside the 3-point arc. Got to the free throw line 11 times, made 10 of them. Mm-hmm. Only 2 rebounds, kind of a surprising number. But 2 steals, 3 turnovers. I can live with that. Plus 21 in a game you lost by 2. And 36 points, so essentially like more than a third of their output.
But he found ways to do it even when the three ball wasn't falling. Mm-hmm. And I think that should be a testament to some of these other guys. It's like, hey, if I'm going to be just a 3-point shooter and my threes aren't hitting, like let's say even Derek, who's been struggling from behind the three. Of course, he hits a dagger 3 to put him up by 1. But
felt like that was going to be like all right.
I know. I thought that was the get
back.
I thought that was pocket 3, and I think it'll come. Derek, I think will snap out of it. I can't foresee a whole season of just negativity.
But you're absolutely right. Like Jaylen has been through 8 games, fantastic.
Oh my gosh, what more can he do?
He's been super efficient. As you said, this was the first night that 3 kind of came back to earth. He's been over 40% on the 3-pointer for much of the season. He has had big scoring nights. He's had efficient scoring nights. He's had nights where he's tried to get everybody involved. And even at the end of this game, just like trying to will the team with the late buckets, whenever they were down 8 or 10, and all of a sudden he gets the layup.
Back-to-back layups, yeah.
You get the steal with Nemi and going the other way, and he finishes another one and one. We'll get to the trip in a second, but it just felt like Jaylen was doing everything possible to put this team in position to win. And, we won't dance around it. Like Peyton's in a funk from 3-point land. Slightly better tonight. He ended up 4 of 11. So he's 4 of 10. I knew he's 4, so like flirting around 40%. But he started so good that you just thought it was going to kind of snowball, and it didn't. So as him and Derek, and even now Sam Hauser, he was the one who was 1 of 8. It just hasn't been there consistently. And so the conversation always devolves to, well, should they be shooting the threes? And like we're so far past that. We know they're going to shoot the threes.
You know what they're going to do.
But it's like, are you generating the right threes? Are you not letting it bleed into the defensive side? And ultimately, like, how are you helping Jaylen, who seems to be the only guy who wants to put his head down and try to get to the basket?
I'm not a pro coach. I'm not a professional player. But I will say this. How you help Jaylen is take shooting out of it for right now. The effort plays. I think this was a really telling moment. Like, Neemias Queta gets to after Jaylen dives after the ball, when Peyton Pritchard gets it to D. White kind of loses it, and then Jaylen somehow pops the ball to Neemias Queta, and he gets to the line. It was a ridiculous hustle play. Mm-hmm. Nemi gets to the line, goes 1 of 2. They tie it at 103. Okay, fine. He misses the first, hits the second. This is a perfect opportunity to say, how can you help Jaylen out, or the rest of or everybody for that matter, is making sure that you are in great rebounding position and not have, the Utah Jazz get a rebound off of a George missed shot and then a putback. Like, it's the effort plays, it's the focus, and really it is the focus, Chris, because if you're going to get out rebounded, it's body position. Some are unlucky, fine, but especially Nemi, and I think Nemi's been pretty solid throughout the season, but you almost want to take it personally, like, dang, I missed that free throw. I better get a defensive stop. How can I do that? Not allowing homie to get the ball over you and put it back in the hoop. So, again, I talk a big game. I'm sitting here in my podcasting chair.
No, but like that's what the best thing about doing this podcast is we get to pretend like, we can stop it.
We get to pretend.
So, look, they didn't even get a lot of 15 offensive rebounds, which isn't like a prohibitively high number. They only generated 13 second chance points. Am I reading that right? That's crazy to me. 6 of 16 on second chance efforts. So they didn't even cash in on a lot of them. But in the biggest moment, They did. And so you just got to be, especially as you're saying, in that situation, you have to be laser focused. And Nimi was in the right spot. Like he was tried to help on the drive, and then he fell back in and had Nurkic right behind him. Just lost his focus for a split second, and that's enough for Nurkic to go up and get the ball and put it back.
What are you making of, and I think this is a glaring pattern right now for the Celtics, what are you making of the lead, the largest lead of the game, 14, 17, 20, whatever it is, and then boom, it becomes a 2-point.
I mean, I think we're on like year 5 of the Celtics' inability to hold a lead, so I don't ever
read too much,
read too much into it. Certainly, part of what is aggravating about this team is a couple years ago, you're so talented, you can get away with kicking away a 24-point lead. This team isn't. Like this team, it's a little bit more of a grind, and you let a team get hot, and it's hard to hose them off. And so, I think they'll get better at it. I think as we see the season go along, the rotation will be more defined. I mean, we can sit here and nitpick. Maybe we'll do that in the lightning round with Joe's rotations and stuff. You know, this wasn't Minot didn't play a lot. He got in foul trouble, and they kind of pulled him. Ugo didn't play a whole lot. Like 2 of your energy guys, and I can't even really quibble with it because I think the 2 energy guys were on the floor mid-second quarter, and like that's part of when Utah started to kind of crawl its way back into this. And so, disappointing all around. You know, and I maybe besides Jaylen Brown, that just didn't have the right energy and focus coming off an unsightly loss.
This sounds harsh and this sounds blunt because maybe it is. Peyton Pritchard and Derek White have to get going because going into this season without Jason Tatum, we were all like, okay, what is this going to look like? Like if Jaylen Brown, no one really knew what he was going to be, and he's been fantastic. But they can't continuously beat teams with Jaylen giving 36 points and all of him, and not having those 2 specific guys. And I point them out specifically because they have the capability to do that. We've seen them do that.
I don't think any of us are like totally worried that they're not going to find it. They're gonna be. They're too good for this to fester, and yet, because of the uneven start to the year, you need a little bit more, and it's so hard.
They know it too, right?
Right.
Like you listen to Derek, and he's just like, I'm trying to figure it out.
I can't even imagine how frustrated he's got to be that the shots aren't falling, and then he gets one to go, and the go-ahead bucket, and you're like, all right, here we go. They're gonna find a way to escape, and he was so great taking that charge and just doing all the little stuff, and yet. Again, if he's a little bit more consistent over the course of the game, you're not in a position. You know, we brought this up on the pregame show. So Derek White right now there's 148 qualifying players for field goal percentage leaders. He is 148th. He was shooting 30.8% coming into the game, and he adds a 3 for 9 shooting night. The 9 tells me he's just hesitant, right? Like he's just not doing Derek White. Like that number's been up at 15, 16 shots per game, and he's clearly like just a little bit gun shy right now and hesitant to get it up, and that's weird. Like Derek doesn't do that.
Yeah.
You know, Derek is usually pretty good. I remember him tripping on one drive, and it's just like little stuff that Derek doesn't do. You know, and so he's in his head. Peyton Pritchard entered tonight, 18% on 3-pointers, 9 of 50. There was 182 qualifiers for 3-point percentage. He was 182nd. That number will go up a little bit. When he was 3 for 5 in the first half, it got up to 21.8%. Finishing at 4 of 11, that number will drop back towards 20%. You know, I can't explain it. They're good players. They just haven't been able to consistently.
And what
knock
I want to see it was hard to do against Houston because these guys were so much bigger than the Celtics, but Peyton getting into the paint and he's shifty around the hoop. Like he doesn't always have to rely on the 3. He can drive and he can have those like reverse layups. And so I think almost to generate the 3 ball or to not maybe take the focus off of I'm missing my 3s, like is to get back to that. And I think I don't know, the past 2 losses, I didn't see him do that a whole lot. I saw him get into the paint, but like being crafty around the rim
not the way
himself.
he did the other night.
Right, like being confident and
even against Houston, like they were so big that it was tough to get there.
It was like block party.
But he lived there against the other teams in that winning stretch, and just, you know, for whatever reason, just wasn't happening.
He's got them ready for more. More selection, more savings, more ways to win.
During the Try for More savings event at Chrysler Jeep 24, shoot to save more, up to $1,500 more. Plus, during the Drive It Fall event, lease a new Jeep Grand Cherokee for just $285 a month and get more for your trade with up to $2,400 over book value.
Family owned and operated. You'll save more at Chrysler Jeep 24.
New England gets more at Chrysler Jeep 24.
Let's go lightning round. The highlights are playing on the monitor next to us as they go over it on BST, and I'm getting all bothered again about it. Let's start with the trip. So Jaylen drives in with the Celtics down, or the Celtics trying to break a tie, I think it was at that point, and clearly gets the Utah player trips onto the ground and trips Jaylen. It should have been a whistle on Keontae George, but refs kind of just let it go. Play goes the other way. Markkanen tips in a little feed over the top for a huge bucket in this game. My whole thing has been you can't put yourself in a position where one bad referee call is like the difference in the game. There was 24 minutes where you could have been better, and yet I understand Jaylen's frustration.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you look back at even Keontae, you can like just pause the tape if you want to go back to the highlights.
Yeah, he's looking
even
up for a
Keontae's
whistle,
like, dang, I got by with that. Like he was surprised, both of them. I think if you look at it from Jaylen's perspective, and you have 36 points on the night, and you're giving your all, and you're coming off of a Houston loss, and then in Philly it was a 1-point win, and he even got a technical foul because a similar, not trip, but an officiating issue that he found between Jaylen and the official, and he was pissed. He said, "I'm not getting the calls that I think I deserve, like I need." And so think about all the built-up frustration, and then to end on this sour note where you do get tripped up. It should have been called. But to your point, Chris, maybe he's mad at the ref in that moment, but I think ultimately, and I'm not here to psycho read Jaylen Brown's mind, but ultimately he's like, I would imagine screaming inside, I need everyone to step up. Like, I can't do this all. Like, that's the vibe that I'm getting. And he would never say that because he's too classy.
I thought he was very diplomatic in the postgame where he said, like, I got to do more. And he's being a good leader in that moment. But certainly I think the rest of the team is going to hear that and go, you know what? No, it's on us. We got to be better. He did have a potential look at a final shot, or he should have, but he got whistled for
6 seconds on the clock.
Pushing. And now
that call, man.
So Hooper's no.
It is a push off. We were watching it together.
100%. He extended.
He definitely pushed off.
I always say you can get away with a little shove when the referee see your full extension with contact and the player going the other way. They're going to call you for it.
And he sold it.
Yeah.
You know, like he sold it. It definitely was a push off.
Right. And it's so tough though, because in that situation you usually let a little bit go,
especially because there should have been a makeup call. And I'm not here to ride the bias train of the Celtics should have, I'm not trying to do that. But it was a push off, but I just think when you missed a really important call on a trip, like, let it play out. I don't know. I don't know. Do you let it play out?
I don't even it was so funny because coming out of the timeout, Scal's like, I'll know what the play is based on what they draw up. And then he saw Jaylen down on the dunker spot and was like, I have no idea what this is. And my guess is it was supposed to be something where something towards the basket, maybe Jaylen leaning. But essentially when he pushed off, he would have had to catch, turn, and shoot. 0.6 on the clock. I don't know if you're getting that shot off. And
I'm kind of surprised they didn't run like, I don't know, he starts at the block. Someone at the elbow, he comes across like a curl screen almost, and just cut, because that way the motion.
It feels like it has to be towards the basket. You can't be catching it and going away from the hoop. And you got to be quick. It's got to be a lob towards the basket. At worst you need to kind of punch it up, and so I don't love it. This is now 2 games where this and the Philly game that have come down to a final possession in Boston, and the Celtics haven't generated a great look or gotten a shot off for Jaylen, and that's frustrating. They wasted the Drake May game.
I know. I don't laugh at Drake May. I'm just like, to make it to really, put salt in the wound.
Do you think Drake May and Will Campbell could have played like 10 serviceable minutes?
Will, you're going to throw Will out there too?
Half?
You know someone sent him a dinosaur of a T-Rex because his arms are so short.
Even with the T-Rex arms, I feel like he could have helped on the glass. And, I feel like...
Drake may have. Drake had some good highlights.
We showed the highlights. Abby did the hit on it during the game, and it's just like... Certified hooper.
Drake would have been out there and been like the passion guy that Jaylen needed alongside of him tonight. Being like in the huddle, looking at the rest of the guys, whether his skill set is there to be like, hey, Jaylen's out there, we got to support. Like I see him being that passionate energy guy. But yeah, that stunk too because the Patriots are rolling. He makes an appearance. His wife is sitting alongside of him. Will Campbell's right there. They're all a duo. Courtside, having a nice time. And then to the Jazz. The Jazz.
Not the harp on
it's
the
not like Houston. To the Jazz.
You can't lose the Drake May game. When
No.
Drake May
All the Drake May
when
lovers.
Drake May is there, you can't lose the Drake May game. I don't want to harbor on the bad, but Sam Hauser missed a free throw. Hasn't happened since 2023.
He was 27 of 27.
He was 27 of 27 before that, and it was funny because Drew and Scout tried to jinx him like all through the preseason because it didn't matter, and he was at the line a bunch one game, and they were just like, oh, they can't possibly miss this one. He made everything. It's almost jarring when Sam Hauser goes 1 for 8 on threes and misses a free throw.
You knew it was a
It's
bad
just
night.
not your night.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it was in that moment where I was like, I just don't know if this is going to be the night against a bad team. Well, yeah, 27 to 27. And when they said it, too, on the broadcast, I was like, oh, man, okay, it's going downhill.
Only 8 minutes of Ugo. That doesn't sit well with me. Josh Minot was in foul trouble, I understood. He's got to learn to play without fouling. That's maybe the one flaw he's got right now because he's otherwise perfect. His tip dunk over Kevin Love was fantastic, but again, it's just Joe is stressing to these guys the level that they need to play to, and while I love those energy guys, they've just got to be a little bit more locked in.
The good news is, I will throw a little silver lining in here, is that this was such an unexpected terrible loss on the night.
The silver lining is unexpected.
You ready? You ready?
I'm ready.
There's so much film to cut up, and there's a lot to learn. I sound like a parent to a kid, but there is going into Orlando. I'd rather almost maybe get rid of the disgusting. I don't know how we lost that game. This was a bad night. It was a terrible night. But you can go to the film, and we're clearly seeing, and they're clearly seeing, Jaylen Brown day in and day out is giving his all, and it's showing on the stat line. Derek needs to step up. Peyton needs to step up. Nimi, you have to be in a better position on the defensive rebound. And I'm just calling out specifics, but there's so many little pieces that it's like, okay, hey, we have the Wizards, another bad team.
Yep.
We cannot be in this position again, especially because Orlando comes Friday.
100%. You can't be focused on NBA Cup, and that'll be a fun little stretch of games, but you got to get yourself right, which we thought was going to happen tonight, but did not. The Celtics have, bottom line is they just got to be better. Do the Wizards have any 37 or older players like Kevin Love and DeAndre Jordan who seem to be invigorated to play against Boston?
No. Do they?
I don't know. I got to check their roster. I don't think they do.
I don't think they do.
I think it's all young guys.
But when Kevin Love is
but I'm now
having a night against the Celtics,
I'm now terrified that they're going to have Blake Griffin's going to come out of retirement and just drop.
I wouldn't talk too soon after tonight.
All these. I hate to call them NBA dinosaurs because we just Al is 39 years old and still doing amazing things.
He's an exception.
But it is jarring that some of these old guys are getting out on there and having moments against the Celtics. We'll see. Wednesday, again, the Wizards are 1-6. They're young, but to me, that's a lot like the Jazz, where Keontae George wants to have a big night on you. Like Koulibaly's going to come in here.
21 years old, Keontae George.
And so Celtics have just got to be dialed into a level they were not tonight.
Yeah.
And as always, we'd like to say this was Tom Giles' fault for not showing up.
Yeah, Tom, I'm going to need you to sub in for me because, honestly, I'm 0 for 2 right now, and I'm here dishing out my silver linings.
Although,
cut the break.
You're 1-0 on the road, and you'll be in Orlando.
That's true.
So
do I get out early against the Wizards? Tom
so if things start going bad against the Wizards, we're just going to kick you out of the studio.
Yeah, period.
And then we'll be fine.
I'll start going live from Orlando or from outside of the studio. I won't even be allowed to do a podcast here.
It'll be perfect.
Okay.
But if you made it this far on the podcast, we do appreciate you. I hope we provided some levity along the way, but mostly just angst about the Celtics not bringing it together. So go subscribe. Hopefully we'll be happier on Wednesday night and be celebrating as maybe Derek breaking out of his slump.
We're waiting for it. It's coming.
It's coming sooner than later.
Yes.
We'll catch you next time on the Celtics Talk podcast.